So Gabriel asked for the seal newsletter in one of your slides.
Uh-huh.
I'm working out a return of $3.50 a donor. Is that net or gross? And I'm not exactly sure. So I don't know, Tom, if you understand what that means. Not sure if he's talking about.
I think I understand what he means.
Okay.
I think what he's saying, for one thing, yeah, you do want to know what your cost of goods is. Clearly, fundraising of this kind, what we're talking about today, cases, and the communications associated with making a case to a prospect, those things are meant to make money. They're not meant to go into the red, right? So with a newsletter, particularly, the question is, are we covering our costs, our initial costs, so that'd be printing and mailing, and then are we making enough to also cover the costs of staff time, because there's always an opportunity cost. If you take a staff person who's doing one thing and move them onto a different task, then they're not doing that other task that they were being used for, and there's a cost to that. So you have to look, if you get into an analysis of income, you start looking at it that way, you might look at, okay, per donor, it's costing us X to send this out the door, and we're bringing in Y. And because Y is much bigger than X, then we're happy with that. That's all we need to do from a financial standpoint. Now, is it only that you're doing, particularly with a newsletter? Newsletters are, we didn't get into them into their genetics today, but we will in the next, when is it, in June, right? We're going to do a similar webinar.
Yes, on
Just
newsletters.
on donor newsletters. We're going to get into why they work the way they work, but what they're actually meant to do is to improve retention, and the money is a nice side benefit that was almost discovered accidentally by a group called the Domain Group back in the 1990s. And I, hadn't heard of it. I certainly, at that point in time, would have believed that a donor newsletter was basically a waste of money. Not a waste of money, but it was a nice thing to do that wasn't going to generate any revenue. And why was it a nice thing to do? Well, because, you were saying hi to your family of supporters, and you were keeping them up to date, and you were informing them, and blah, 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 all that's good stuff. Building the base, building the family, building the tribe. And that is still a primary goal of donor newsletters, and particularly on the digital side, because digital side tends not to make all that much money in response, whereas the print side can make an unbelievable amount of. And so here I am, I'm wandering around at a conference. I was there doing some focus groups for AFP, basically, and I go into a session just to kill some time, and the person presenting the session is from the Domain Group in Seattle, and the premise is that you can make more money with a print donor newsletter than you can with an appeal through the mail. And I thought, no way is that true. That is just hogwash. And I was totally wrong. Totally wrong. And I soon learned that by experimenting with a small client who was willing to try stuff. And now we make newsletters, for very big causes, because they can be money machines. It's like you have a printing press in the basement.
Yeah. So that's coming up in June.